Thanks, guys, for coming. We are at debate number 2 of the Webby Debate Series. I am Lori Siegel from CNN Money. Joining me today, we have Paul Carr. Paul is a columnist from TechCrunch and a former writer of The Guardian. Paul recently went on a self-described social shutdown, quitting Facebook, Foursquare, LinkedIn, lots of other social media services. So this should go very well with our debate as to whether social media is overrated. Paul, you actually once wrote, "There's more to life than feeding the insatiable blood-eating plant of social media." So we were very happy to hear your thoughts on that.
Big words.
I'm sure I did.
And also joining us, Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, you're an avid social media user, host of Wine Library TV. You very much use social media to build your brand. Wine Library TV now has over 90,000 viewers daily, and it's one of the most downloaded podcasts on iTunes in the food category. So, guys, thanks for joining us. I just want to start, kind of to set it up. Paul, was there an actual instance that you realized the lack of value in social media?
Well, it's not a lack of value. It's that it wasn't for me. I decided that when I came to write a book, and I write basically about myself. I'm a huge egotist. So you'd think social media would be good for me. But I actually, I wrote my first book a couple of years ago, and I looked back at like all my previous blog posts and things, sort of more long-form stuff, columns I'd written and things like that, and was really pleased when I wrote the first book to find I had lots of sort of reminders of things I'd done and stories about, adventures I'd had. Fast forward to the second book, the sort of follow-up, and in the interim I joined Twitter. And I looked back again and thought, I'll have even more this time because I'll have every single detail of my life. And I found I had nothing. I found all I'd said was... And everyone dismisses social media with the cliche of all I had for breakfast. And it wasn't that. It was just all I had was these sort of context-less, inane sort of overheards and retweets and things that didn't... I looked at stuff and thought, I have no idea what I've done for the last 2 years. Unfortunately, I kept other notes. But it suddenly occurred to me, all this stuff we're putting out there, there's a question of whether anyone's listening, but there's also a question of whether we're actually saying anything. And it was at that point that I thought, as someone who egotistically writes about himself, this is actually destructive to me. I'm writing less, even though I'm actually churning out more. So I guess that was it.
Gary, on the flip side,
yeah.
What would you say made you realize, was there a specific circumstance, something that actually made you realize the value in social media?
Well, I think what Paul's saying is right. As somebody also who enjoys his ego tremendously, I think that's probably the best thing about social media. I think the way to win in social media or have success is to not talk, but to listen. There is probably not many better or more often self-promoters within social media than I am, but I have a lot of street cred because if you go and look at my interactions, I'm in the 95 percentile of just replying and responding. And so I think for two guys that are fond of their egos, I think it's not as valuable for us as prior mediums or other opportunities. It's the listening part that made sense to me. I mean, I built my brand by using Surmise.com, which eventually got bought by Twitter and is the back of their search engine. Nobody knew who I was. I wasn't going to be Robert Parker, Wine Spectator. I didn't have those platforms. So all I did was search Chardonnay and Merlot and Pinot Grigio, and I just started answering questions. I became useful. And I think that that's when I started realizing the power, when I started using Surmise.